Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Hey, welcome to Night of the Living podcast. I'm Freddy. That there's Andy to my left.
Hey, I'm Andy.
If you can imagine a round table, we move on to Amy.
Oh, I'm right here.
We're the trio.
I'm Amy. Hi, Freddy.
The trio.
That's us. We're the best.
There's only one trio, and we're not it.
Are you talking about
Dolly Parton, Lynn Ronstadt, and Emmylou Harris.
Emmylou Harris, yeah.
It's a great trio.
That's a very old reference.
I remember my mom
old.
jamming that album.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
We're doing AbraCadaver, which
That's
are
our theme.
magic-themed movies. Last week we did Lord of Illusions.
Let's say magician themed, because magic implies sorcery and witchery. Is that what we're doing? No.
I think it goes. It's the same boat.
There has to be somebody doing a card trick.
We've already determined in all three of these the movies we're covering. There's a major character who's a magician.
Yeah. So there you go.
So in this one, this week we're doing Magic from 1978.
The classic. The first movie you think of when you think of a horror movie with a magician. Even though I'd never seen it before, it was the first movie I thought
But
of.
you've heard of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
See, I always think of it more of about as a like ventriloquist dummy movie than I do a magician movie.
That too.
Yeah.
But it is called magic, Franny, so I'm like, what am I going to do?
It's not called ventriloquist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not called dummy.
It should be called dummy. But we'll get into that. We're just three movie fans in Cincinnati, Ohio. We've been doing this for 18 years, if you're new.
Oh, is that our bio? Three movie fans from Cincinnati, Ohio.
We have
the Cincinnati.
Pretty different tastes sometimes. Sometimes we align. Sometimes we don't.
Nobody calls it the Cincinnati. I want you to know that. I know that. I was making it funny.
Yeah. So we'll have that feature for you, the main attraction this week, Magic.
Is it kind of like how nobody calls Atlanta Hotlanta?
Exactly, but I just want everybody to know that I'm not trying to do a thing.
And then after main attraction, we will come at you with some stuff that the algorithm has spat out for us. And by algorithm, I mean wherever we...
Amy, that reference is so old by now.
Nobody's even talking about it anymore.
It's gone the full cycle.
Somebody got a tattoo of it, though.
I saw on the Ohio subreddit, it is the headline was "I'm ashamed of Ohio," and it was just multiple pictures of people getting license plates.
Oh, that said
Hawk-Twa.
Oh my god,
some variation of it.
Yeah, well, because somebody had to get the first one, and somebody had to like spell Hawk or Twa different.
Okay, guys, were they getting denied or approved?
No, they got approved because
next year they're going to be yanked. You can't. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to stop letting you have Hawk-Twa.
Yeah.
Anyway, Freddy said spit.
So after the main attraction, we'll bring you another segment, just a brief thing about what the algorithms that generate recommendations for us gave us to watch
the very rhythms
last week.
of our lives.
Yep. What we're being controlled by, the AI.
Did you know that IMDb says that Jack Nicholson was up for the main character in Magic, and he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to wear a hairpiece.
Yeah, was that a requirement for the role?
I guess so.
I guess to match the dummy, but still.
They made the dummy to match Anthony Hopkins.
They made a dummy and then they went out casting for the dummy.
You know what? Maybe it was his nice way of turning them down.
Very funny to watch, though. if that scenario was the real case.
We paid a lot for this dummy. And we're not going back.
They just find the weirdest, most dummy-looking person they can find.
Jack Nicholson refused to complete the medical exam.
That makes sense. I think he would have been good in this role.
Yeah,
he would have been good, but also you expect it.
I think so.
I like the other. We get into alternate casting when we talk about later. Amy mentioned somebody who I thought would have been really good, who was a contender.
It's Gene Wilder.
Oh, well, now you.
Sorry, I just can't.
Don't you want to tease it?
All right, are we ready to move on to
Wilder.
it? Gene Wilder.
He would have been perfect. Yeah, let's move into it so we can talk about the movie.
All right, we'll be right back.
She promises you.
I think.
We're just going to take you in. Okay.
Turn out lights, it's the main attraction. action.
Sir Richard Attenborough.
He spared no expense.
I didn't even know he was a director. I'd seen this years and years ago, and I remember I thought it was a very dreary movie and like not a lot of fun. And this time I thought it was a great movie. It's like
Still dreary.
it's dreary, but it's more.
But it's not as dreary as you remember, probably.
Right. It felt really adult and serious.
Yeah.
And this time it's kind of still kind of like
Still kind of fun, too.
Hitchcocky. Yeah.
It
Lots
is
of fun.
Hitchcocky.
I mean,
It's okay.
it has to be fun with the ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this movie docked my dick in the dirt.
Yeah.
I don't think it did.
I liked it a lot. I mean, my dick's still attached, but
Yeah, but I mean, it swatted at my dick.
It was an acting showcase.
That means
let's
it
say,
almost got there.
My dick got reattached.
It was sewn back on by the
It
end.
was hanging on by a thread.
By a thread. My dick is hanging on by a thread.
A little piece of sinew.
You have to understand. Kelly gave us
Yikes.
this. We're going to use this measurement now. If it doesn't knock your dick in the dirt, is it at least hanging by a thread? I'd say mine was hanging by a thread.
So your dicks are hanging by a thread.
Yeah, and Freddy's was all the way
Yeah.
encrusted.
We got to put it in milk.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would change much of this movie.
It's got an incredible.
I mean, as far as getting my dick blown off, I'd definitely change some stuff, but not the movie.
It's got a great cast.
Yeah.
Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah. Composing.
He's a composer, a very famous composer.
Oh, I love the harmonica bits in all the score.
Yeah, well, it's like his cue for every time you see, what's the dummy's name? Fats. Whenever Fats is in the scene or about to participate in a scene, you get like a harmonica
Yeah.
little blast. And
But
it's
it wasn't corny, though.
It wasn't corny,
Yeah.
but it also wasn't always musical either.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was put in there and you're just like, it makes you uneasy because you're like, oh.
Because there's like there's no notes. It's just somebody blowing through.
Yeah, they're not really trying to create a melody. It's just it's like a herald for Fats, and Fats seems non-threatening. If you went into this movie,
I don't know. I saw this is a pretty creepy looking ventriloquist dummy. You know how his upper lip moves up?
Yeah,
and you can see all the teeth.
but I didn't find him like the movie itself the way it presents him as this charm because like what is it? I don't know if it's his father, but Anthony.
You need yourself
Hopkins'
a charm
character.
kid or something like that.
Yeah, his mentor character in the beginning who's dying.
That's Merlin.
That's Merlin, right? No,
Yeah.
don't you get a little confused as whether this is really just his father and Merlin is never really a guy at all?
I don't think they say.
Yeah, it wasn't established, but I just saw it as a mentor.
I like
father figure.
And he leaves it though. I feel like it's left to your imagination that could be his father, it could not be.
It's probably more clear in the novel.
Yeah, and it was written by this one
William
of my
Goldman.
favorite writers. Yeah, who wrote Princess Bride and Marathon Man.
I think that was a stage name, or is that his real name? Because if it is, it's unfortunate because you have no other career path besides magician if your name's Merlin.
Oh, Merlin. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Are people giving their kids that name?
I mean,
Have you ever run into a Merlin?
if you're a celebrity,
yet.
maybe
If you're a what?
a celebrity.
They go to like magnet schools.
Or if you're like super into Stonehenge or something. I don't know.
yeah,
If you're David Blayne, maybe.
Merlin.
Yeah. Chris Angel. You know he's got a pet he named Merlin.
Oh,
No, he did.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
name. I mean,
Burgess is a good name.
Burgess Meredith as the town
Not for anybody
agent.
now, but
I love
Oh,
Burgess
look at little
Meredith.
baby Burgess.
look at that burgeoning Burgess.
Well, that's the powerhouse here of acting, right? You got Anthony Hopkins and Burgess Meredith, a lot of scenes together, and Margaret is the childhood crush who he goes to see in the Catskills.
Speaking
right?
of childhood crushes, what is the age of these people? Because they said they're high school sweethearts, but they said, I haven't seen you in 15 years. So are we as to assume that these people were only 33 years old?
I think they're playing younger than they actually were, for sure.
Yeah. Well, so at the beginning,
But it was almost theatrical. in that
Anthony
way.
Hopkins is supposed to look young in the beginning.
And
Which,
everybody was calling him kid, and that type of.
Did you find him to look like AI? Because I did.
I thought he looked like a McPoyle.
He looked weird.
He did.
Like he was always just sweaty, and that's a wig, right? You said
Has to be.
it did not do him any favors.
The McPoyles are characters from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Google
Yeah.
it.
I was going to say the other actor who is in this, who doesn't turn up until later, it's the husband,
Duke.
Ed Lauter.
He's very familiar
awesome.
face.
He's a character actor.
He passed away back in 2013, but he was in tons of stuff. He was on The Office. He was on Next Gen, The X-Files, Law and Order, of course.
Who was he on the X-Files?
He was in The Artist.
He probably looks like he played a lot of cops.
Was he on Next Gen?
Yeah, he's played all kinds of different kinds of characters.
Some toughs.
He had 209 acting credits. He passed away when he was 74, so he just crammed his life full of roles. Kind of reminds me of Conan O'Brien sometimes.
It was very much a bottle episode. Very intimate kind of movie. Not a lot of characters
It's just a character study.
track. Yeah.
You think you're getting one? If you didn't know going into this, like, it's been so long since I saw it that the New York segment, I'd forgotten all of that. Like, I only remember the part where he goes to the Catskills, but the city segment's a big part of the movie.
And that's my favorite New York.
Yeah.
Grimy New York.
70s, early 80s New York.
It is a good New York.
Me too. It is pretty great. We just watched another movie where Amy's almost done with it called
Death Promise.
Death Promise. Yeah, it was filmed in New York in the early 80s.
Yeah,
Highly
like
recommend
the dirty New York where you see just
everything's graffitied.
Newspapers just blowing down the street.
Yeah.
I did like this, like, grimy New York, him going to these open mics, bombing like shit, and then apparently he gets good. You want to know how? Because he goes crazy and gets a ventricular stomach.
Yeah.
Boom! You're brilliant, kid.
His charm. That's the charm. He told him to get a charm, and it's what charm translates into is gimmick, I guess. Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't just. I felt it was more than a gimmick. The writing was pretty good
Oh, it was great
for their ventriloquist dummy. That whole thing they did.
They were excellent together.
Again,
him and his other personality.
This is one of like America's best
not
writers writing this. Like
Yeah.
William Goldman
You wrote the screenplay too.
really looking if you like this movie, you probably are. If you
You're
don't know it or
cool.
not, you're probably already a fan of like a bunch of William Goldman stuff and don't even know it. You know, he's the kind of guy he is.
And I love the reveal of him being ventriloquist because you think he's still bombing his act, and then some voice calls it, like a heckler calls out from the back, and then he goes out and confronts him and comes back with the ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah, it's
Brilliant.
great. It's such a good reveal.
me. I
And
was
at
like,
this point, it still
whoa.
feels like a very positive, fun. It feels like a dramedy at this
Yeah.
point. Like you're just gonna watch this guy's career take off.
He's going to be on Carson, which he is.
Well,
Yeah.
it almost feels like it's a dream in the beginning. I mean, the second part where he gets a big audience and agents are coming to watch him.
Yeah. Because the transition's just solid.
Yeah,
There's
it's very
no-
quick.
Yeah, you feel like
then-
one moment
and
he's
then
a failure,
and then he's
next
still doing
yeah.
his bad card act.
Yeah.
So you think, I thought it was like a delusion in his mind that he's seeing this big crowd.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way for a minute too.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy.
But the truth of it is
He's
that's
having other
the
issues.
pressure.
It was very like Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Yeah,
That's what this movie reminded me of a lot.
I feel like what's his name? Todd. The guy who directed.
Todd Field.
Who directed?
Todd something.
Yeah, I want to say Todd Browning, but that's Dracula. Anyways, you're right. I think that they probably even fed off this movie a little bit. Well, I don't know if the Batman comics might have also drawn a little from this character for the Joker. Because this is very clearly like the way he breaks is pretty dramatic.
It does feel like a Batman villain, like this villain that has a ventriloquist dummy
with its own
kind of
brain
controlling him. You know?
Yeah, that's the coolest thing is you begin to realize throughout as he leaves the city because he's about to get his big break, but has to submit to a medical.
He
exam.
knows he's not well.
Yeah.
At this moment, you realize he knows something. There's something up. You haven't figured out yet. I mean, we have because we're smart.
Well, we get some
But
inkling.
You get inklings
from the when we show his first act and him bombing.
Yeah,
and he just screams
He's
at
not-
the audience.
He's very sweaty and jittery. You know, there's something going on. And then when he refuses the medical exam, you're like, oh. But then, like after you watch the movie and you think about that moment for a second, it's because he knew.
Yeah, he felt
he's not okay.
They wouldn't let him work.
Yeah.
It was his big fear was that they would put him away at
Because he's
home.
got some real issues mentally. Let's just say. Want to bring up a line that Burgess Meredith says. He says, magic is misdirection, and you can't misdirect a camera. Talking about him being on TV. What was he going to do with his magic on TV? Well, then, they bring in the dummy, and that's how he gets famous and ends up on TV and blah, 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 blah.
I love it's still got that fairy tale that most William Goldman stories have where Burgess Meredith, who's the agent, when he's first having the meeting with him, says, Gangrene, because his name's Ben Green. And they use a real agency, the William Morris Agency.
That's a big agency.
Yeah, it's like the one everybody knows. And the meal, he says, when I buy you a free lunch at, I can't remember where, but he says, you'll know that we've moved into the next step. And he maps it out. And this is otherwise very exciting if you don't know what the second reel is holding for this movie. At this point, you're kind of go get him. Yeah.
He hits the skids. He sabotages himself.
Yeah.
Because he knows.
Big emotional swing here.
And he's not ready for help.
And you'd think that this movie is going to be bigger than, grander in scale than it's going to be. Because I thought it was going to be him going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And people, trying to cover up his mental illness. But he just goes off to the Catskills. And
a small little Hollywood back in the day. Not anymore.
The Catskills, yeah.
Yeah, but everybody went to the Catskills. Everybody was up there doing shows and stuff, right?
It's full circle.
I know.
Well,
but I've heard of the Catskills.
Well, we've all seen Dirty Dancing.
Right. Like that.
But even then, in Dirty Dancing, they said, people don't want to come here anymore.
Yeah, and this was kind of where you're picking up with the character.
With Corky. Corky and Fats are on the road. They hit it, and they are out for Peggy and Snow. He thinks he's gonna talk to her parents. This is for his old hometown, and he's gonna come back and find this woman he was in love with.
Yeah,
but he can't find her parents. He finds her.
Super romantic at first because she
was pining for him too a little bit.
She was pining for him, and they both felt like they didn't remember each other.
Yeah,
and really they did. If you took his mental illness out of the equation. This could have been a really nice story.
It was it had the seeds of a rom-com.
Yeah, it did.
That's my life, Freddy.
If
we could just take the mental illness out of it, this would have been a real good time.
I'm going to get you a ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah, that's
see what happens.
Something.
Probably not a great idea.
No.
Not a heavy one, at least.
Did you feel like it was like the cabins from The Ring? Empty, deserted, wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't film in the most ideal time of year. It was
rainy.
Late fall where it's there's no leaves.
Just
and it's
monsoony.
all gray.
It's weird too, that you move from that huge brightly lit city. It is just the contrast. It feels like two different movies, when you get that break when he goes off into this little 2-character play for a while.
Right.
And then, things get kind of more exciting when the Rolls Royce comes rolling up.
I love that character, Burgess Meredith, that classic movie agent.
Me too. You watch Mrs. Maisel at all?
No, but it's a trope that character,
Yeah.
It's
I think
archetype.
The cigar chomping.
Yeah. They do it really
Agent.
well. If you like this movie, at least the Hollywood parts of it and the New York parts of it, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel kind of recreates this whole vibe. It feels like it could take place in that same kind of world, except for the really dark parts of it.
I don't want to go into Ben coming there yet because we're gonna skip over the weird sex scene. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
And then him having this meltdown over the card trick and it not going right for her. It scares the shit out of her. That scene was really tense.
Yeah, and I love how long they lingered on that scene.
Yeah.
But it never felt like it was too long. I love how they built the tension up.
Yeah.
And I love when a movie lets a scene breathe and
well, in hindsight too, when you know that part of the reason he is so nervous doing it is he doesn't have Fats with him.
Yeah.
And he's when he has Fats with him, he's kind of competent, but when he doesn't, he's back to being that guy that got heckled off the stage.
He needs his wingman.
The kid he was you know,
It's almost
the shy kid he was. He
he
turns
need-
back.
He needs him to focus too. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of like his tick is the dummy, and if he doesn't have the dummy, he can't focus enough to do the trick.
It's like me with my headphones at work.
Yeah,
I don't even half the time
Yeah.
stuff's not even playing because I forgot to turn it back on. But just the fact that I have them on, I can work. If I take my headphones off, I can't work. That's a messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sex scene, it was just shot like somebody took a camera and just swung it around on like a string.
It
Like,
was
what the fuck?
a really quick transition too. All of a sudden, we see them kind of embracing at the kitchen table after
Yeah.
the card trick, and then all of a sudden we see
her
Anthony
titties.
Hopkins' torso.
Well, you know the way
We see
Like
some
how-
titties.
like
thing-
They were nice.
lingering above us. I was like,
She did great.
the seals the deal is that the trick he finally pulls off is one where it seems like he's reading her mind right before that sex scene. I just wanted to say that was
That's how
important a
you
little
get
bit.
to a lady.
It was also interesting how
Read her mind.
he was almost screaming at her and making her feel very
Scared the shit out of her.
threatened.
Yeah.
But she still kind of, her life was so miserable that she overlooked it.
Also,
You
magicians.
blew it, Duke.
Magicians do that shit sometimes just to get you into the story a little more because magicians are doing the little drama thing. Watch David Blayne, where he's like, I have to think, I have to
I
concentrate.
know, but he doesn't scream at the people.
Yeah, but he gets real bent out of shape sometimes, like, where he's like, it's not working.
No,
and then
our
he'll
friend
storm off,
Corky was having a moment.
and then an ace spades will appear in a mirror behind him.
Yeah, I feel like, remember, who was that guy that gave dating advice with the big hat?
The pickup artist.
The
Pickup
pickup
artist.
artist. That's what
Yeah.
I felt like. It like he was negging her and making
Yeah.
her feel
Yeah.
like worthless, and all of a sudden he gives her like a validation.
Well, you find out later, Fats, the part of him that's Fats, probably was doing that.
Yeah.
He hates her. The part of him that is fat is jealous
Yeah.
of her taking him away from him.
Which is kind of, it was sad.
It's very sad. It's really sad. A great line. One of the fucking greatest lines I've ever heard in recent years. I can be a real crappy lady when I put my mind to it.
Yeah.
Peggy, same.
Peggy's a great character. She is so likable, and the fact that she's an adulteress in 1978 in a movie, and she's still presented as a likable, lovable character,
I don't like.
it's pretty cool.
Well, I don't know. Like everybody had nuance to their characters. They're
Yeah.
like totally bad people. Even Duke,
Yeah.
he felt like some sympathy for him.
Yeah, I mean,
Duke.
his wife's
And like
stepping out on him.
Peggy, like she's an adulteress and kind of like was waiting in a way for Corky to come and save her because she was so excited to see him again.
Yeah.
And she was like,
She's wishy-washy.
kind of like my way out.
Well, their marriage kind of sounds like it has fallen
Oh,
apart.
yeah. They've broken up and gotten back together so many
Yeah.
times, she said. So now Burgess Meredith comes and he busts Corky talking to Fats like they were having an argument. That's the only way they were arguing
Yeah.
with each other, and Burgess Meredith walks in on it. At least it was an argument, not something else.
Best scene in the movie, I think.
You mean the 5 minutes?
The
where-
entire scene from the
Yeah.
moment Burgess Meredith is at the doorstep, Gangrene, the agent. He's at the doorstep. The shot of him, he looks so concerned to begin with that
Right.
you know exactly where you're at. He is so good. Burgess Meredith is such a great actor. Was such a great actor. You lock in on his eyes. You're like, he's worried about him. You feel like that he kind of
there was a lot of
him.
compassion in that character.
And then the way they play it out,
But
where
he got beat
says,
to death with that dummy.
he says,
God.
he tells him, you're clearly sick. You need help. And he goes, well, give me 5. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll spend 5 minutes together. And at the end of that 5 minutes.
No, he says you can't
Right.
talk to Fats. You can't talk as him.
Well, before he gets him to agree to that, it's a kind of a trick. He like Gangrene
misdirection.
He tricks him into even agreeing to do it.
right.
Where he's like, there's something you can do to convince me that you're okay.
Yeah, you can just keep going what you're doing if you can do 5 minutes without Fats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this scene is like very similar to that scene with Anne Margaret in the cards.
Yeah.
Like it could have felt long, but it never did.
Yeah, and it also was every bit of like watching like an addict wanting to use something.
He doesn't make it like halfway through before
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
and he's
He's
like, well, I guess I gotta
squirming.
kill him now.
Yeah.
I love how the kill scene with Fats, he's using his voice like use me,
and he does. He uses him as a blunt instrument.
But also looks like Fats is actually jumping at him.
Yeah,
that it makes you think that maybe he isn't crazy. Maybe it's a live dummy.
And there's a couple moments in this movie where they want you to think, but it's like they're brief moments.
The eyes movements, because there's times when he's not controlling him and the eyes still move.
Yeah.
But I have to say, Burgess Meredith is a very hardy man because
It took a while to kill him.
Yeah, and even
He had to be drowned. He had to be beaten to death. He had to be.
it's like Rasputin.
Yeah.
or maybe
Like Rasputin.
or maybe it's just Corky's is really bad at killing, or
Maybe.
is Burgess Meredith very sturdy.
Parts of Fats, I think, are soft because we see Fats naked later because he got injured. I'm doing air quotes during the brutal killing.
I mean, there are moments in that where he's beating Van Green to death that you could see the Anthony Hopkins' hands holding Fat's legs and just swinging him. So there's a moments where he's clearly, where you're like, he's like, no, he's nuts. This is Norman Bates all over again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But he does disrobe him and like cracks his skull open and everything else. I mean, Fats.
Well, yeah, but Fats gets sewn up. Don't worry. Real quick, I did label Duke as not Randy Quaid.
When he first shows up.
Did he look like Aunt Randy Quaid a little bit to you?
He looked like to me he looked like Craig T. Nelson, but from Temu.
Oh yeah.
Craig T. Nelson.
Knockoff.
Yeah, it's like a Walmart version of Craig T. Nelson.
Walmart version. The Walmart. It's a great value.
T stands for Tisn't.
I thought he looked like Randy Quaid. I just wanted to say that. Fats at this point says, "Do it beautifully." About what I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Because Anthony Hopkins is leaving, and he says, I think to
Dispose.
get rid of the body.
He tells him to put
That's right.
a rock. He puts rocks in his pockets. Put
He
them
tells
in the
him,
lake.
do it beautifully.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the corpse.
Yeah.
Fucked up. Kind of loved that. Anyway.
Fats had some great lines.
I love that they're doing the joke about him having a wet dream, and he said like sawdust popped out.
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony Hopkins, Corky, bad murderer. 1, you killed the guy. He probably told somebody where he was going. Like, duh, you're going to be the suspect. Even if you get rid of the body, then you don't get rid of the car. Come on.
Well, you have to remember he's insane too. So.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
I would be a better insane murderer, I think. I just have a lot of extensive knowledge in my brain from true crime shows.
This was before like the big true crime bubble, like a thing happened. So
I'd have done it better.
He didn't have like a blueprint.
That's not true. There were all kinds of serial killers in the 70s. There's lots of stuff.
This is also the classic killing to cover up a killing.
Yeah.
It's not that he wants to kill anybody. He's not. There's no premeditation in anything that he does. But he has to do it now, right? Is where he's at now because Duke is kind of getting on his trail.
Duke is sus AF.
So he's gonna have
what
to
the
kill
kids
Duke.
say?
I love that he had a little switchblade. Fats.
The dummy. He's a stabbing dummy.
He's a stabbing dummy. He does it all.
I wish he had like the butterfly knife though.
Oh, that
would have been adorable.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Maybe if it was Jeff Dunham, he would have done that and done an accent.
He stabs Duke, right?
A very offensive accent.
Yeah.
He stabs Duke. That's right.
Yeah. So
well, there's your husband problem, Peggy.
Yeah, and then Peggy's trying to make the last
Solved.
thing she said to Duke for Duke and Pooter. What's his name?
Pooter?
Anthony Hopkins' character. Corky.
Who's Pooter?
I don't know.
Pooter Lovato.
Corky and Drake. What's the husband's name again?
Duke.
Dirk.
Duke Trick.
They're out on the lake and they're going fishing, which is weird to begin with. Like, can a man force another man to go fishing? Like, it seems like he did.
He did.
And they're out fishing.
Get a man. What's another man?
He just tells him, he's like, get in the boat. Get in the back. Here's your fishing rod. Here, have some scotch. And he's like, I don't drink. I don't have that.
You can't when you're a wishy-washy little nerd.
Yeah,
well, also I think he's trying to throw Duke off the scent.
He's trying to be nice. He doesn't want to get anybody killed.
So he wants to be extra cooperative.
Yeah.
Because that's suspicious as hell, too.
And
right?
also, he doesn't want to, stay behind and give Duke more suspicion that he's messing around with Peggy.
Yeah.
You don't want to blow up her spot.
I also find it interesting
Duke
that
does not look like he has a hard time not putting his hands on her. Or putting his hands on her to put his hands on. I'm saying he easily beats her up, I think.
But did they ever say that?
No, but he got handsy and I didn't
He
like it.
kind of
Yeah.
pushed her down.
I
kinda shoves her.
totally
Yeah.
labeled him as a domestic abuser, though.
He
head.
looks the part.
Yeah.
They met, and I think they want you to kind of
They
believe that
kinda
he's
want
kind
you
of
to believe that.
a rough guy.
But he was right. And he did try to save Ben's life. Super dead Ben at this point.
Yeah, they find Ben.
He's just laying there.
But he
Anthony
says
Hopkins
he's
is
still
terrified
alive.
that Duke is going to see the body come burbling up, right? Or it's going to be on his fishing line. There's all these moments where, like, where's the body? Where's the body? Oh, my God. The body's just laying right there.
Yeah, well, that's
Like,
hilarious because they
shore.
hook the log, and Duke
Freddie
hooks the
Morris.
log,
Come on.
and he's pulling the rod, and they're fighting to get it, and the whole time Anthony Hopkins is pulling the oar out,
Yeah,
and
he's
getting
about-
ready to kill him. And then he sees it's the tree stump, so you get that relief immediately. Where he's like, "Oh, whew, thank God!" And then
Again,
they
like-
cut, and there it is. There's the body right there. It
So-
was just
Boom.
out of frame.
Again, like I love like so much tension in that scene.
Yeah,
All that. And it was just right there.
but it was just out of frame. All they had to do was, like, if one of them sneezed, they would have seen him. If they had averted their gaze one night, like 30 degrees.
I mean, I don't remember who. I think this was Corky Fats. What have you done?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Good line.
He did
Movie
everything.
had a couple of fucking lines, man. What have you done? Everything. Anthony Hopkins, Corky whittles a little wooden heart for his lady, as a forgive me for being weird.
And forgive me for murdering your husband.
I also murdered your husband and another guy on your property.
It's kind of a chilling
There's
moment,
going to be
too,
some
'cause
paperwork.
she resists answering the door. And then you think you're at the end of the movie where he's alone in this
He might
cabin.
kill her.
But she comes back to him at the end. That was like a kick in the fucking
Well, it's
nuts.
also like
It's like the mist.
Yeah.
there comes a point like you think that he murdered her too.
Well,
or he would.
I think
no, like
yeah.
because we don't like she picks up the heart
yeah.
and then like something happens where you think something made me think that she was murdered by Corky / Fats, and because we don't see her until the very end.
And she runs outside and she goes, "Okay, I'm ready now."
Well, yeah. Oh, you
Too bad
mean
everybody's
I see
dead.
what you're saying, Andy. You thought she had been murdered off screen.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Yeah, I never
So
got
Anthony
that.
Hopkins, Corky kills himself to end it all
Yeah.
because it's the only way to stop the murder. Because he's gonna have to keep killing people to stop them from saying anything. And so he recognizes that this got out of control, and he does himself in. And then
it was a very emotional ending too.
it was.
Yeah,
it,
like,
it was him and Fats
yeah,
talking.
For Fats.
Yeah, and that line was like one is like, I hope you die first or something, or
Or he says, I hope I die
Yeah,
first.
something
He
like
says,
that.
"I suspect we'll go together."
Yeah.
Which,
I suspect.
yeah,
Because you're the same.
be outlived by your split personality.
Some crazy shit right there.
Yeah.
There you go. My algorithm served up Knock at the Cabin next, and I think it's simply because
It's on Max.
there's a cabin and it's on Max, which
Or
is
is it
the old
Peacock?
wherever we watched it. Peacock.
Yeah. So
They're
the
like,
algorithm.
you like cabins, right?
Yeah.
I guess how many ventriloquist movies are there though?
There's not a lot.
I can't think of any. Oh well,
It's easier to suggest a cabin movie versus
What's that
a
one movie?
ventriloquist
Do you count
movie.
Look Who's Talking Now?
Yeah.
no.
Baby.
Dead Silence. Is that a?
Dead Silence, yeah.
Yeah.
That has ventriloquist in it. So yeah, it's the algorithm. This is our new segment. We're calling it Algorithm Nation right now.
We're living in an algorithm nation.
But what Amy was saying was like that's a simple algorithm. An algorithm like that only serves up what's on that streaming service.
It doesn't know enough about us yet.
Yeah, but then you get to other algorithms. For instance, like Tubi is an example, and Netflix's algorithm is awful good, where it will kind of figure
Spotify is
out.
a good one.
Is that Spotify? Yeah, for music.
I don't know.
But we decided to make this part of the show if we
Yeah.
found something fun. And do you want to start off, Andy, with what you got?
No, because my review doesn't apply to their algorithm, so you guys.
Well,
can
how
go
did you
ahead.
find what you wanted to talk about?
I just saw a movie in the theater.
And
Oh, you saw a new movie.
Yeah,
where'd you see
cool.
an ad for it?
that doesn't.
On your
This is
social
different.
media.
I'm saying like if
Yeah, he went out to the theater.
if
I gotcha.
if the segment is Algorithm Nation, it would never apply to me because
you never watch anything on a streaming
suggestions.
service.
Never watched
No, I
anything.
never watched suggestions like that.
Well,
Gotcha.
a suggestion is an ad. Is a.
That's all right.
But
think
I
people
don't.
get
I
it.
don't think ads are the same thing as algorithms.
Do you know how ads are served up to you on social media?
Anyway,
Via an algorithm.
It's all an algorithm.
Because otherwise, I would never be able to talk on this segment. So,
Well, what's new? What's out? I don't even know, man.
What'd you see? You just tell me what you saw.
If I talk about a movie on this segment, it doesn't apply to me. It's just Andy's review.
Andy's review. What'd you watch?
I watched A Quiet Place Day 1.
Those movies bore me. How was it?
Yeah.
It was good. This was better
Yeah?
than the first two.
All right.
Mostly because of
Lupita Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn. I don't know why I want to watch this, but maybe it was probably because of Lupita Nyong'o because I love her so much.
She's pretty great.
Yeah. She is.
Because I feel the premise of these movies are pretty dumb. The aliens themselves.
That's
make a
why
noise, you
I
get
have
killed?
never watched any of them. I don't.
It's like I know that the point of these movies is not about the aliens; it's about the humans and how.
That's
they deal with it.
why I don't want to
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah.
Give me a cool alien.
But still, like the human stuff in this movie was really good, but it's hard to overlook how flimsy
yeah.
these aliens are. The big threat.
So what kind of alien? They don't like noise.
It's just,
They go real mad.
because for something so specific, you need to have rules, and the rules are changing constantly.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, isn't this sort of like a prequel? So they're just
it's day
discovering.
one. I love outbreak movies
Yeah, me
more
too.
than the aftermath movies
Me too.
because I like to see how people figure out things.
Yeah, the early
Right.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But the story, like we see these asteroids come crashing to Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and Lupita Nyong'o, she is a terminal cancer patient.
Oh
So like,
shit. Damn.
so like you see where this is going, kind of, but it's still like engaging.
You can't go anywhere without there being cancer in the story. I'm telling you what. Magic was maybe one. Anyway, I've just been.
Meredith had it. They never said.
They just never said it.
Yeah,
I've
they
just.
never said this. His character with all the cigars. I don't know.
I find that for everything I watch right now.
It's the algorithm.
Algorithm fucking found
Yeah.
me. They're like, oh, you've been looking up cancer?
Serving up cancer movies.
You had a
But
relative
it's
cancer?
not a spoiler that she's going to be the sacrificial lamb, kind of like how
Right.
John Krasinski sacrificed himself in the first one.
Right.
It's not like she's immune to
Yeah.
everything because she has the cancer.
Well, like she, the story is basically like
She can fart out loud without being eaten.
What do you do about your farts? Do they ever
again,
address that?
That's why like
Can't take your movie
for
serious.
a good movie, I don't tend to cars it, but
Uh-huh.
for something that has so many things you can pick out,
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm don't have like a whimsy box. I do have a big whimsy box.
It is.
And I can suspend disbelief easily, but sometimes it's hard to not to.
Sometimes your movie is
Yeah.
too big for his box.
I gotcha.
But like the story is like, since she know that she's gonna die, that she doesn't really try to survive
live?
as much as other people because her big deal is that she wants to get pizza.
Oh shit, I relate.
Yeah. Well, it's like important pizza because it's significant to her life, but everybody else is trying to
It's important pizza.
flee and survive, but she's just out to get pizza.
She ran towards
Yeah.
towards the screams to
Yeah.
get pizza.
You gotta look for the helpers, not the women running for pizza.
So you this is the third in the
Yeah.
series, right? And you've seen the other two,
Yeah.
and where's the stack up?
It's like I said, it's the best one.
It is the
Yeah.
best one. Okay.
Because it's not so self-serious as the other ones. I think it helps that John Krasinski didn't write and direct this one.
Oh, okay.
I think he's great. I bet he's lovely. I like his
No,
wife. I
find-
bet she's lovely. But the
Nothing
two of
against
them do nothing
but
for
like
me.
I just felt that it was John Krasinski being alpha male, and he's
Yeah.
trying to show that in the first two movies.
Well, I remember seeing that first one, and I was like, it's good, but it's like it felt like a straight to video movie to me.
yeah, it
It had
didn't.
nothing, no extra. There was no substance there really.
I mean, it's a horror movie for people who
Yeah.
generally don't watch horror movies. So there's going to be it's going to be different.
It's just surprising to me how successful it was.
Yeah, and how
because it's a horror movie.
and
for
how
people
well
who don't
thought
like
of it
horror.
it is.
like imagine if like It's to me, it would be like that. Remember the
These people have
gas?
never seen magic, man. They don't understand, man.
Like I'm not trying like saying like real horror fans, but like
I think a lot of people would say that.
To me, it's very
I would say that.
basic in a way.
It's like saying you love horror because you watch The Walking Dead. I did it. I gate kept.
or like those like the Conjuring universe. That you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like okay, you like those movies, but that ain't.
That's not what I'm trying to say, though. It's just surprised it was a hit. That's all I'm saying.
Huge hit.
Freddy wants us to stop.
I think it's good for horror that a new franchise has come along, and it's kind of like classic now in a way.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I think it's cool that somebody. It's like Tremors. You know what I mean? To me, it's no more sophisticated than Tremors.
Like the tone is.
I love
a lot different than Tremors.
But still, the final product, as far as the impact on the culture, I would say maybe like to me, it's so simple. Yeah, it's literally just cat and mouse throughout, and then who do you survive or don't you, and then bow tie, and there's no who, whys, wins, or what's in between. It's just a chase. I don't know if the sequels are like that, but that first one, that's all it was.
Mm-hmm. But like this one is more about like the human stuff.
Yeah.
But they also get in their situations that are needless.
God love them.
You mean
They're
the
so
risk
stupid.
they take?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like certain like situations they get themselves into. Like you do not need to do that.
Yeah. You mean like go for pizza?
Yeah. No, like I understand that's the point, but like when their times are fleeing, they flee in the dumbest way possible.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, it's spoilery.
It's the same way, like these artificial things that are thrown in, like threats, kind of like how Emily Blunt just happened to step on that nail for no reason. The nail that was sticking up
in the original one,
right in the middle. Like, how did that sprung up in the first place? I don't know. Like, but I'm not reviewing the first one. It's about the third one. But it just reminded me of that scene. Where the nail just pops up.
So is it worth the price of admission
to me? It was. I liked it.
Yeah.
You talking like a bargain Tuesday or full price?
I saw a matinee, so matinee maybe.
Matinee
but
money. Do they even differentiate anymore?
They did show the aliens more, which I appreciate. I do like the design of them actually, even though I don't like the aliens themselves.
I haven't seen.
I like the way they look.
Yeah. Did they show them in the trailer? I don't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe they do.
I have in my imagination. I remember in the first movie, you never really see much of them.
Yeah, because they're so fast and like they're dashing around. But
I just picture
you
the
see them
bugs
more often
from Starship Troopers is what I imagine. Whenever I think of that.
But I do like the character design of the aliens, and like I said, Peter Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn, who's going to be the new Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four movie.
What do I know him from?
His big break was on Stranger Things, but I didn't watch that season he was on.
Who was he on Stranger Things?
I don't know because I didn't watch it.
He doesn't know him.
Nobody
knows him.
He's that guy in that Hellfire Club T-shirt that you see all around.
The Big Brother character.
I don't know.
It might be from a season we
We're not
haven't
getting
watched
anywhere.
yet.
Yeah, I didn't watch the second season. That's it. But he's famous for that.
Well, good for him.
They had really good chemistry, and they were. It was almost like a rom-com at times, which is really cute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a cute movie. I like it. A
rom-com where you know the character's gonna die.
It was like that. Was that Fault in Our Stars and other movies like that?
Untamed Heart.
Yeah. But it was like that, like along the lines of that, and I like that. And there was a cat. Oh my God, this cat is so adorable.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, cats in horror movies.
But again, you have to suspend your disbelief because a cat
talks.
A talking cat.
Is it talking?
No, but he keeps.
How do you get the
away.
cat from being? How do you keep it quiet?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Again, you have to suspend your disbelief a lot.
How do you keep a fucking
animals
quiet?
I don't know if I get killed for a cat.
The minute Elsa sees like a bird, that's weird.
She's just snoring and farting over here.
Well, I know. That's like what she normally does.
And also, it's one of those movies where you kind of put yourself in that situation. Like, what would you do?
Right.
I like that. Those scenarios.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I don't have a dog now. But if I did, like, I'd be fucked.
Thankfully.
Thanks, Andy.
So you're saying thankful that it could happen now.
If the noisy aliens dropped
I need you to get
came to Earth right now, I think I'll be okay.
I need everybody to write him at andy@notlp.com and say, Amy needs you to get a new dog. And convince him for me.
Stop living vicariously through me.
I have nothing else, Andy.
Peer pressure.
Nothing else.
We don't watch new movies.
So
That's not true. I've seen several new movies. Thank
Really?
you very much.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Immaculate. I just watched.
Oh, that's true.
Huh?
That's kind of new.
Had The First Omen.
Yeah.
Snooze. Watched it.
That was
most
boring.
of it.
Good kills, though.
I think he means you don't go to theaters anymore.
Yeah, we don't go to the movie theater.
Oh, well, it's like it streams like a week later.
Why would I do that when the algorithm served up Grizzly 2?
Andy?
Grizzly 2, you remember how that was just missing? It was George Clooney, Laura Dern, and Charlie Sheen in a horror movie about a killer bear.
No.
It was filmed in the 80s, and they finally...
was it like a lost movie
Yeah.
or something?
It's not lost anymore. And apparently for years it's been available, and I had no idea.
It's streaming on Tubi. Grizzly 2. What a mess of a movie. So what they did...
Is that why it was lost forever, because it was so messy?
Yeah, I heard a
I
story
think
about it, and I was unable to verify it today. I was trying to find out if this was true, but I heard it was seized from a bank, owned the movie, and that bank failed. And that then the Federal Reserve actually owned the movie, is what I was always told.
There is no record of that on the internet.
But Amy cannot find it.
I cannot
And
find that on the
can't find it.
Wikipedia. All I can tell you is that I think a producer walked out first day of filming. They lost all their funding. Then they had to turn around and find temporary, like they finally got funding so they could shoot most of the movie. But I don't think the complete movie got shot. And then in 2020, they decided to release it with new footage.
Like
Which
newly shot footage or
Yes.
newly found footage?
Newly stock footage.
Shot stock footage, basically.
It's stock footage.
So you have a movie that was filmed in the 80s, and then you have like new imagery in it. And there's long scenes to like pad it out. Not even real scenes. It's just more stock footage.
The movie
Deeply
where
weird
I think
movie.
where the source for that, I think, is a documentary called Money for Nothing Inside the Federal Reserve.
Well, there you go.
I think that's where I learned about that, in case you're curious.
I don't know. It was ridiculous. I highly do not recommend wasting any time on this,
is it
but I
just
watched all of it.
basically
It's a waste.
Like Lost in the Wild movie and a grizzly attacks people?
No. Grizzly 2 is a concert movie, first and foremost.
They want to put on a concert in this national park, but
And
gee, wouldn't you? These poachers, they shot a cub,
Yeah.
and now the mama bear's out for revenge.
It's like Jaws, the Revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is they stitch together the poacher scenes, the concert footage, and then you have our, I guess, hero characters.
They're not. George Clooney, Charlie Sheen, and Laura Dern do not make it out of the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. They are all
both-
eaten by the bear in the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing.
So
that
do they think
happened.
that the bear's going to attack the concert and kill a whole bunch of people?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're worried about. So
It's their beach.
who is it from Deep Space Nine?
Oh, it was Louise Fletcher.
Louise Fletcher plays like the mayor, whatever. She's the equivalent of the mayor. She's in charge
No,
of
she's in
making
charge of
sure-
the park.
Yeah, she's the head.
She's
person
Leslie
in
Knope in the
charge.
future.
Yeah, and she's responsible. So she's showing up every day, and they're like, "Lady, leave us alone. You're hassling us." And she's like, I'm responsible for this. And if that bear comes in here and starts playing guitar, people will lose their minds. That's what it felt like. And then, but then,
If a bear played guitar, man,
yeah,
I would love that.
there's some great fucking moments where you just realize what lazy fucking production went into assembling what was there. It is so Frankenstein together.
So what was the point of even putting this movie out?
To get money. I mean, it's a
watched
novelty
it?
item. Yeah, I watched it. So however many ads I got served up.
It's kind of legendary too. 'cause
Yeah,
it was a
I mean,
lost
I was
film.
fascinated. Like Charlie Sheen, George Clooney, Laura Dern, and they were gone pretty quick.
Like, do we see like their grisly deaths?
Not really. Sort of. I think, if I remember correctly, Charlie Sheen, was he the one? Did he get his head bit off? I can't
No,
remember exactly.
There was nothing that good in this.
I
It's not
was
that I
this
could be.
Louise Fletcher, she won an Oscar for one
Flew over the cuckoo's nest. Yeah.
So was this before or after?
after.
Oh, poor lady.
Significantly after. But then she ended up on Deep Space Nine, and I say, good for
I know,
you,
but
lady.
it's just to go from
This is a bad movie.
an Oscar to this.
She was She worked
Yeah.
all the time too, though.
She had to pay them bills.
It
All
is
right.
killing me not being able to verify whether this movie though was one of the ones that the Federal Reserve owned. But if you're a listener who knows for sure,
If your nose knows, let us know.
put my mind at ease. Let me know.
Freddy at notlp.com.
Yeah.
So what were you watching when this was suggested to you?
Can't remember.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that happens.
It was
Andy, when I'm just hanging out. You know what I mean? It had to have been something on Tubi. But
I'll find
I
out.
did recently start Too Close for Comfort
Oh, with Monroe.
with Monroe.
That's all I remember from the show.
I've never
Cosmic
watched
Cow.
it. I'm excited. That was not served up to me by an algorithm. That was just an idea I had. Too Close for Comfort. I'm going to put a racing stripe all through this house. And you're going to love it, Freddie Morris.
I think it's great. The downstairs apartment on Too Close for Comfort, top
Yeah.
shelf.
Are you busy right now on your phone, or can we end up the show?
Oh yeah, you can go ahead. I was trying to find what the movie was that
What
recommended
movie?
it.
It's okay. You're never going to find it. You do this every week.
And no, I think it was the Stone Tapes,
Oh, okay.
which was boring.
That makes sense. Yeah, it was. Anything else before we wrap? Do we have any banter? We had another mass shooting in Cincinnati. Yay, us. But it was Northern Kentucky this time, so we can be like,
I don't think that's good banter.
That's not good banter.
Sorry.
Bad
No,
banter.
I want to talk about
Anybody
that.
done anything fun? I mean, we've gone out of the house a few times.
I did went out 3 days in a row, which
I
is
know.
super rare for me. So next week I'm staying home.
I'm never going out again. You know, it's a holiday weekend. You got to do holiday shit, like listen to your neighbors set off fireworks.
I might drag myself out to see that new movie coming out, Longlegs.
That does look interesting.
So I saw a trailer for it at before A Quiet Place Day One.
It's about a spider.
I don't know why I had to say the whole name,
I don't know either.
AQP.
but it seems like a supernatural serial killer movie.
Yeah.
With Micah Monroe
Oh yeah, I like
and
that.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to see it, but I don't want to see it alone because it looks scary.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to go see it together, I'm sure.
I'm going to be out of town. You go.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
Um,
I see next, like maybe.
You guys want to make your plans right here?
Sure, sure.
Here, get your phone out, and you
Yeah,
guys can
yeah.
set up an appointment.
Let me check the times.
Please check times real quick while we're here. Thank you. So next week there will be no new show because I'm, like I just said, I'm going to be out of town.
Shania Twain.
I'm going to be on a Twain, a Shania Twain. So we'll come back to you the week after that with
Wizard of Gore.
Wizard of Gore.
Herschel Gordon Lewis.
I'm excited. I've never
Super low budget,
seen this.
early like murder film. I mean, it's kind of like they have cops in it too, like trying to track him down, right? If I remember right.
I watched it for 31 Days of Halloween a couple years ago, but I do not remember it because when I watch those movies, I
You
do
ain't
not pay
watching
attention.
them. They're just on.
Those
Yeah,
Herschel Gordon Lewis movies kind of all bleed together
Yeah.
for me.
But I love the premise. Like researching movies to watch, I was like, oh wait, I did watch this.
I get it mixed up with
Yeah.
what was the other one? Blood Feast.
Maybe that's when I saw it, not this one.
Blood Feast.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Streaming on Tubi. What a library. I gotta stop giving them free advertising. It's stupid. Wonderful. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, wrap it up. I'll take it. Well, we did Oakley Green, our friends. We probably talked about that. I know it's on
Did we already
social
talk
media.
Anyway, our friend Jacob, he we talked about his bars a lot. We've been to them. The Overlook. That's probably what you know him.
The Overlook
That
Lodge,
we've
which is
talked
his
most
shining
about.
theme.
Yeah, and he invited us to his
Mini golf.
mini golf bar. It was really fun.
Yeah, we had a great time. Thank you, Jacob.
I'm okay. I
Yeah.
found that I am okay.
All right.
Ish. At mini golf.
Yeah.
Okay-ish, I think, is all you need to be. There were no windmills.
Mini.
It's very classy.
It's probably a good idea not to have windmills with drinking people around.
Yeah.
People will be climbing them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you don't want
your
anything they can climb.
fundamentals. Your traps are there.
I know,
your
but I
green.
like to hit a ball into
rough.
something's mouth. Like, it's just a thing
Yeah.
I like to
I
do.
would like at least one
One
mouth
mouth.
ball.
I need some water too, like some water traps.
One water trap.
Water traps. Oh, the ones that you have to get into the water
Yeah.
for.
That's a terrible idea.
You're probably right. Wonderful. Weather's been
Good
great.
food there. Oakley Greens.
Yes. If you're in town in Cincinnati, Oakley Greens, go to it. All right, everybody. At the end of every show, we say hi to our Beelzebubs. Patreon.com/NOTLP. Get all kinds of extra stuff there, access to our Discord. We have meetups, blah, blah, blah. Online meetups. We can have a real life one, but if you're in Cincinnati, let us know.
Yeah.
I'm babbling at this point.
No, you're fine.
Patreon.com.
That's a good idea, though. An in-person meetup.
/NOTLP. If you're ever in town, let us know. We'll see what we can do. Unless you're weird, don't ask then.
Well,
What were you saying about babbling?
Somebody stop me. All right, Beelzebubs. Your names are Matt, Branan and Emily, Jeffel, Iona Goodwin,
I own a great one.
Dr. Brian,
Paid it off.
Old Dirty Billster, Bill Fahrner, Blayne Yogurt, Jordache Jeans, Monica, Jeremy, Cassie, Gamora, and Ernie. Hi, Ernie. And Dave. I was just talking about Ernie. Sorry, Dave. I wasn't talking about you, but we have talked about you before. Ernie was just talking about him with Violet.
Oh,
And I miss him.
Yeah.
And I told her to tell him we were thinking of him. So I hope you hear
Ernest
this.
is a golden-hearted god.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a sweet man.
He's a sweet man.
He's a talented dude.
Thanks so much for listening to this nonsense. I know it just gets better and better every week.
Thank you guys, really.
And we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.